Hello and welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland, an Arsenal podcast. I'm Gimli, and tonight my guests are, first up, he's fat and hairy and due a visit from the Tooth Fairy. It's Danny the GFP.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm now officially toothless, innit? They'll
Is
get
there
me
dribble on the microphone already, though, blood?
So I was bleeding profusely from the hole, and I used up 3 tissues. So I was a very brave boy, and the woman patted me on the shoulder and said I was brave. It took nearly a whole 30 seconds to get the root out.
The sweets aren't the only thing that's gummy, are they?
Num 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 minibus.
Oh, lovely stuff. I think that explains it all. Everybody's in for a treat tonight.
Yes.
Next up, he's Welsh and hates everybody. Hello! It's Jason Kinney.
Hiya, pal.
Hello? How are you?
I'm surprisingly happy, actually.
I will point out, Jace, like I did before the podcast, that this is the 3rd week on the bounce I've been present correct.
I'm very impressed, to be fair. I'm impressed that you can be bothered to turn up.
Have you seen the predictions league, Danny? Jace, that's how bothered I can be.
Hey, look, even Collings is on top of me in the predictions league. I'm saying nothing.
Oh, is it?
Do you see our website? I've spent many happy hours doing an index which has got every single guest we've had, what podcast number they are on, and you lot. This is Gimli's 131st podcast.
Well done, Gim.
And it's Jason's 61st, and it is David's 30th. Happy 30th, Dave.
Happy
Do you
30th,
mind
David.
not keep butting in over Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Simon's 14th. Every week I'll be updating people.
I thought you spent a lot of quality time cheating in the predictions league, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's why Dom is about 6 points clear of me.
How the fuck did that happen?
He's too good looking. I put him down as a win every time.
5 points.
He's threatened to come over here and impregnate all of our women. It's the only way I can keep him out.
No, Sheila's, Danny. He said Sheila's. Right, should we get our next guest?
Go on.
Next up, the biggest quiff in sports journalism. It's Simon Collings. Hello, Simon.
Hi, you right, Kim? How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's nice to have you back on with us. What have you been up to this week?
What have I been doing this week? I went to the Hurlingham Club yesterday, which is a sort of place I can imagine Andrew Fife spends most of his leisure time. Sort of croquet fields, gin and tonics, blazers, very much his scene.
Oh, it sounds like his kind of party, definitely.
Yeah, it's the sort of last place you'd see Indie Kris, but it's very nice.
Oh, yeah. I believe we have a question about Indie Kris later, don't we, Danny?
Oh, we certainly do.
I feel this is going to be a quite light-hearted podcast. I think we're all in a good mood.
I think Chris should turn off now.
I think he should do. Oh, satin bedsheets. Have you seen that? Have you seen his latest attempt at a haircut, though? I mean, imagine Hector Bellerin, right? And then go like fucking 50 shades of shit in the other direction.
A drunk Hector Bellerin working in a jam factory. That's what it reminded me of.
I think like if you looked at the two, like Hector Bellerin and Chris's, you'd look at Bellerin's and you go, not bad.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think so. Right. And finally, the cream of the ABW crop. It's Goonaholic David. Hello, David.
No, mate, you got it wrong one. It's Jeff here. I was able to turn up after all. I'd like to thank David for standing in, but I'm all right, mate. Terrific.
He's MIA. He's MIA. You've had to step in, further cementing your ABW cream of the crop tag.
I think that's stretching it a bit far.
He's gone anonymous. Last week he was due on, bailed. Right, this week due on, bailed. Wow.
He's a busy man. He's got lots of irons in the fire.
Davey, could you give us a get down dog?
Get down, dog.
See, it's almost like he was in the room.
Is John Terry's alleged mum around?
No, don't.
No.
Alleged.
No.
I said alleged.
Not the footballer, John, is it?
No.
Oh, no, John Terry down the road.
Yeah, that's the one. He lives next door to me.
JT on his full kit wanker.
The one. Oh my God, Danny, have you got like loans and across the board? He's thrown me.
Well, we've only got one little bit, and loans we're giving up on. Apart from well done to Chupa Chupa Appcom.
You got it right. Well done.
No, I didn't.
No, he got it wrong.
And his promotion with Brighton. fantastic. Everyone has got their wish. Jack Wilshere is back at Arsenal before the end of the season. That's another thing we all really wanted to happen. The under-23s got hammered by Sunderland, the worst team in living memory, but in their under-23 leagues, they're not too bad. They beat us 2-1. We went 1-0 ahead with Dolan? Is it Dolan? Yeah, Doniel Mallon and Ashley Maitland-Niles.
Conservative.
He got the assist. And just looking there, who played from the first team? No. Oh, there's 2 Willocks. How's that possible? We've got a Jay Willock and a Chris. We've got a Joseph and Chris Willock.
Yeah, Joe played with Chris for the first time at wherever it was they were. First time the 2 brothers have played together for Arsenal.
Oh,
the
Willock
brothers. The other brother plays for Man United.
Yeah,
I'm glad he pointed out that they were brothers.
Yes, and so in the under-23s, we are currently 4th, but there again, we're not going to catch any of the top lot. And the Women's Super League, well, I think this is. See, I've got it saved under 2016. I forgot to update it. I thought we'd beat Liverpool 5-3. No, our first game of the season is going to be on Sunday the 30th. We're away at Sunderland. So we should hammer them 15-0. And that's it, really. There's nothing else to say.
Oh.
That's
poor.
Oh, tell me one of the youth players who's out on loan that you want to hear about. Any old one.
What about Zellerland?
Manana?
Yeah, Zellerland.
No. Right, Mr. Zellem is currently playing in the Dutch second division for a team called VVV Venlo. And I could almost say that. Now I've got all the rest of my tooth taken out. And let me see how many. He has played 7 games, got 1 goal, a total of 137 minutes. And I think they are top of the Dutch second division. And they're going to win the title. That would be yet another young Arsenal player who will get a title winner's medal, along with Chupa Chupa.
So there was information there. You just weren't willing to give it up.
No, you had to winkle it out of me.
Danny, on a serious note, when I gave up, I left the show for a bit.
Sorry.
Seriously.
Should I leave?
No, because there's no one else that could you record Jace?
He's gone.
I can. I just can't be asked.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
I'm only here because no one else wants to.
Yeah.
Well, not being funny, mate, okay? You don't go very far, do you?
No. Actually, I went to Hinchinbrook Hospital today. Thank you to everybody at Hinchinbrook Hospital. The NHS staff at the dentist part were wonderful as usual.
Did the old Popemobile get an air in? Did it?
Hooning around in the Sharan in the rain, giving it sideways round the Huntingdon Ring Road. Oh, we're living the life. Shouting abuse at foreigners.
You should call it the Poopmobile.
It's sometimes because people imagine a Volkswagen Charan. Normally, you have a hatchback at the back of it, but my hatchback and the back seats have been taken out, so the ramp at the back unfolds. And sometimes when Sean will hold the front and her mum will hold the back of it, and then as they're wheeling me down the ramp out of it, I start screaming, "No, minibus, no!"
I don't want to hear about Sean's mum and your hatchback.
Hey, she's very happily. She's all loved up with Julian, and they're a very happy couple. But she still comes round and eats all my good stuff.
She still comes round and takes up the hatchback.
Hey, hallelujah! Yes,
this has really gone down
the road. He's a West Ham fan, so it's his own fault.
That's
doesn't even like football. What grown man doesn't like football? Sparse explains why Sports West Ham. Look, people complain that sometimes it's 2 or 3 hours till we get to the fucking point. This is, I think, a record before we even got going properly.
Okay, then. Well, with your scores and loans, it normally takes about 12 minutes before we're even into a podcast.
I know. That's why I didn't bother. Jason just gets a Welsh jank. Someone called him Welsh Jesus earlier.
Oh, don't say that. His head will get even bigger. Right. We will kick off tonight's show then by talking about our 2-1 Wembley win over Man City. What a day, David.
Oh, blimey, you're going to put me in the hot seat, are you?
On the spot.
Now, you've got to bear in mind, I was there on the day, not expecting too much, and celebrated rather a great deal after we'd won it. So I'll try and remember as much as I can. Fortunately, it was a pretty slow start. The first half, I don't remember a great deal at all, other than the fact that they came and showed us an awful lot of respect. He didn't go with 2 wingers. He started Kolo Touré instead of Sterling. And I thought he probably missed a trick there, because by the time Sterling came on for David Silva, that back 5 or back 3 with wing backs had settled into their roles and they looked a whole lot better and more comfortable than they did at Middlesbrough in the practice game, if you like. We had the ball in the net, Lauren Koscielny. I remember him scoring that, but I'd already looked across the linesman and already seen the flag up, so I knew we weren't getting that one. But other than that, there wasn't a great deal to talk about in the first half. But the second half, it certainly changed. We came out throwing everything at them in an attempt to get the lead. And on one such foray, when we had 9 players forward, Aaron Ramsey, unfortunately, who otherwise was pretty decent, gave the ball away. And they've lumped it up the field to Aguero, who's one-on-one with Nacho Monreal. And there's only one winner of that, I'm afraid. Even then, Aguero's made a pretty heavy touch of it when his last touch before he chips it in. And I thought Petr Cech might have done better there. Those of us who are very old Gooners remember Bob Wilson in such situations. He'd have dived head first into that and reached out and got his hands on it first. But different things today, and that was City 1-up. And you thought in a big game like that, that was probably going to be enough for the win, but we weren't having any of it. Carried on throwing everything at them. And it was, I can't really find the words to describe how proud I was of the way we battled back from that, because it was Nacho Monreal arriving at the far post when Hector Bellerin Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain had got away down the right, slung a cross in the far post, absolutely beautiful. Monreal arrived at speed and whacked it in, would you believe, with his right foot. I think he said afterwards it's the first goal he's ever got with his right foot, and probably his last as well. And unfortunately we didn't get the second goal in the 90 minutes, because I would have made a nice few bob out of that. But in extra time, Alexis, who else, wiggles his way round the box, applies the finish. We've gone absolutely mental, and rightly so, because we didn't look in any bother after that either. I thought City were very ordinary. I thought both sides were actually out on their feet in the second period of extra time. But what a win that was, bearing in mind how we've done against other top sides this season other than Chelsea at home. Enjoyed it.
It was a very, very good game, and I can't remember a game where I've been like on the edge of my sofa watching. Jace, when Monreal scored, did you celebrate that like it was a final goal?
Not far off, to be fair. I just, as Dave said, the first half was tough for us, and I at half time was wondering if we could come back. I thought second half performance, we really manned up. As Dave's already said, we manned up, we really took it to them. And the great thing about that, Ox has crossed it. There's Ramsey attacking the ball. There's Nacho coming in. What a finish. You could hear me screaming down the street. Honestly, it was just a beautiful thing to watch. And I know they had their chances. They've hit the woodwork a couple of times. But genuinely, I felt, second half and extra time, we were the better side. I always thought, okay, even if we let another one in, I thought we'd come back. I thought we showed real character on Sunday. It was really nice to watch.
And Simon, with backs up against the wall, we finished the first half probably the weaker team. Would you agree? Did you think we were still in it at half time in terms of you thought that we might have possibly gone on and won it?
I mean, I wasn't overly confident because, as you say, City in the first half, as much as that back three was working hard for Arsenal, it did feel like Sane was getting at Ox. And to be fair, later into the game, Ox recovered brilliantly, and he was probably almost our best player on the pitch other than Gabriel at the end. But the only reason why at half time I was quite so optimistic was because City obviously had that goal wrongly disallowed. David Silva had gone off. They'd hit the woodwork, and you almost had that feeling like it might have just been one of those days for City where, they dominated the match and didn't get it. But in reality, it wasn't where they dominated the game. They were unlucky. I think over the balance of the 120 minutes, and certainly from half time, we were the better side. And the most pleasing thing was that the mentality of the team to come back when they win a goal down, because so many times in these big games, we've gone 1-0 down, 2-0 down to the likes of Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool, and we've got stuffed. And this time, it really felt like on the biggest stage of the season for us, because in reality, this is the only trophy we can win, obviously. that we actually stood up and got counting. That for me was the most pleasing thing, was the mental performance rather than the actual show on the pitch.
And Danny, when you saw the team lineup and you saw 3 at the back, obviously we saw that same formation against Middlesbrough. You could argue that we struggled to implement it, although it was pretty much the first time we had played it. Were you surprised to see 3 at the back in such a massive game? I think last week, didn't we all say that we'd be very surprised if he did stick with 3 at the back against City?
I think he was said in one of the interviews that he doesn't think he's going to play it again. And I thought, what a fantastic display by them all. It's really good. Gabriel, I think we've said for a while that when Gabriel plays on the right side of defence, when he can do a little bit more than just being a central defender, he's pretty good. But when you've got Koscielny there pulling the strings and guiding everybody around, you're going to be doing all right. I think Petr Cech was one of the ones on the day that saved us. He only got an opt rating of 6.3, but some of the saves he pulled out were magnificent. And I'm really happy that he stuck with it. And I think that may have been one of the reasons why we beat them. Apart from half of the Man City squad are on the beach because they know some of them are leaving in the summer because there's going to be wholesale changes at Man City, because there's no way Guardiola is going to have those half of that team out there at the moment. He doesn't like Aguero, does he? We saw that as soon as Jesus came in, not Welsh Jesus, the Brazilian Jesus. As soon as he came in, he was playing all the time, and the only reason Aguero got any games is because Jesus was injured. So I think we will see Aguero will be off, and I think Company might be going, although since coming back from injury, he's been good. And Toure, I think he'll be going off, but us playing 3 at the back, no one expects us to play 3 at the back. And although he had the Ox playing at right wing back, I thought he was pretty good. His defending isn't all that it could be, because I don't think he's had to do any defending in his life. But Xhaka had a decent game. Again, he only got an opt rating of 6.4, which I think was pretty poor. And I know we are not talking about the Leicester City game, but I wasn't overly pleased with Giroud. And people were giving Giroud a lot of grief during the Man City game. But you saw when Theo played up front against Leicester how hard it is playing in this formation. And then Theo did absolutely nothing. But Giroud is holding up play and then helping Sanchez do stuff and bringing the Ox into it. And Ramsey had a few ventures going forwards. And I was just really pleased with the entire thing. For that game, I expected nothing and I got everything. And that has made me incredibly happy. Nothing I like more than, I think, the perfect way to, like when Simon and Fife are at one of their gentlemen's club, the perfect way for them to end the night is with a brandy and a cigar. Perfect way for me to end the season is an FA Cup final, a nice hot sunny day at Wembley. I think that's how all seasons for Arsenal should end. And this will be Wenger's 9th FA Cup final. And if he wins it, it will be a record 13th win for Arsenal, and it'll be a record 7th win for Wenger, beating the Aston Villa manager from about 1702 who won 6 FA Cups that shouldn't really count. So massive plaudits must go to all of the players for beating someone. The odds against us winning that were huge. And to Wenger for getting through to another final, and everybody's given him grief, and I've given him grief, but he has shown he's adaptable at last. There's even been talk that maybe a director of football might be coming in, and I said all season I don't think he's going. And this result, getting to the final, all the players playing for him, 3 wins back to back, I think has shown that maybe he's got the players back on side, and that he's definitely going to stay. I can't see him going anywhere. And Monreal, that, like David was saying, the first time I think that's the first time he's ever touched the ball with his right foot. Absolutely magnificent to see someone like that. That was almost unstoppable. But it's like I was watching a YouTube thing about Man City players, and it was on about various things. It doesn't matter. My brain's trying to go off into another direction. And they were saying that all Man City fans loved Joe Hart, but the only thing Joe Hart couldn't do was use his feet. And he said Claudio Bravo, the only thing he couldn't do was do anything in goal. And I thought that this game kind of summed it up. I thought he was horrendous. And also, there's the trivia question. I was hoping, who was the first ever 4th substitution to be brought on for Arsenal? Didn't make one, did he? Because when it went into extra time, for the first time ever, we were allowed to have a 4th substitute. And although Man City did, we didn't. So I was hoping that was going to be a trivia question in years to come. Now it's going to be null and void.
Wow, you've changed your fucking tune.
Well, no, I've always said if Wenger does well and the team does well, I praise them. If they do bad, I'll get angry. That's the best way to be an Arsenal fan. You can't be the entire time, no matter if Wenger goes and wins 50 games in a row, you can't still go, well, he's shit, sack him. All the players are shit, sack all that. You can't. They've done well. They deserve praise. That's what I'm doing. And he's shown adaptability in his to change the formation. And then in the Leicester game, he changed the formation during the game. I think he changed more. I said it on I typed it in the radio show. Wenger changed formation more times in the second half against Leicester than he did in the last decade, and that's a positive. That shows he is willing to change. Next thing you know, he'll be bringing on subs when we need them, and not the 68th minute.
Danny, it's Jeff here. I'm ever so glad that you said that, because it's normally only me that talks up in support of fella.
Get down, dog.
That was
down, dog.
Down, dog.
Get down.
Oh, someone did say in the YouTube comments, there's too many in-joke things that we do that people don't understand. The down dog thing, about 3 years ago, we did a Christmas special of all the outtakes. And before we were recording the show, one of Jeff's dogs, because he's got about 7, jumped up at him. And he went, "Get down, dog." So there you go, people. That's why we say "Get down, dog." Next week,
we'll his leg.
Yeah, next week we're going to explain the Szechuan playing for Juventus and Napoli and Real Madrid. No, he didn't play for Real Madrid, did he?
Hey, Gim.
Yes.
Ask Simon where he watched the semi-final.
Oh, Simon. Simon?
Yes? Sorry, I was on mute.
Where did you watch the semi-final, mate?
I was in the press box at the stadium. Trying to be neutral, but I couldn't when that Monreal went goal, and I had to try and not jump up.
Simon, would you like to take this opportunity to stick up for one of your own, our favourite Amy Lawrence, and the grief she got for those wanky Man City fans?
Oh God, yeah. I don't know if anyone saw it, but all she did was post on Twitter was the picture of above the City end. It had the great. I don't know what the slogan is. But it's something like the greatest team in the world and in the land, or whatever. And the abuse she was getting on there was. It was saying get back in the kitchen, slag, bitch. I mean, all this sort of stuff. And anyone who's met Amy, and you guys, all she's been here, is a lovely person.
Yeah.
And the level of abuse was disgusting. That, and you might have seen her Twitter. She's basically taking a break from it all. And that's the sad thing with Twitter, isn't it? That you lose good people and good conversation. You know, people, because you get twats and pricks like that who just want to abuse people, isn't it?
It wasn't good, was it?
Jace, as the bringer of Welsh justice, what's your reply to all those Man City fans that abused our Amy?
Oh, they can go fuck themselves, dirty mucking northern monkeys. Same old shit, okay? You had the fighting outside on the concourse, and this guy's slapping some kid around. The kid stood up. Well, whatever, mate. You know, they're just a pile of shit, aren't they? You know, yeah, I've got no words for pricks like that. You know.
Did you see the 2 ginger Man City fans on the day that the cameras kept going to? They looked like Rod and Todd from The Simpsons, didn't they?
I thought it was Josh and Ellis.
Yeah.
I thought they've put on Man City shirts, and I thought any second now Shredder's going to pop up with his ginger beard and make it a hat-trick of gingers.
God. But guys, did anybody see 2 first-half penalties? Shouts. There's the one on Aguero, and the one with Sanchez got rugby tackled.
I don't think the Aguero one was one. I think the Sanchez one was a really good shout, I think. And the linesman straight at that one as well.
I couldn't believe he didn't give that. You know, he got rugby tackled. The Aguero one, he tripped off his own feet.
Yeah, but in real time, the Aguero one looked like a penalty, and I thought he was going to give it. But when you watched it back, you realised he just falls over his feet. But yeah, the Sanchez one, I think, was a really good shout.
Stone cold.
We should talk as well. Obviously, we said about the back 3, and I don't think we can really give enough praise to young Rob Holding, who started. David, didn't he just have an absolutely fantastic game?
He was excellent. He knew exactly what his job was. Of course, it helped that he had Laurent Koscielny to his right, but he was never fazed by the big names in front of him. He was comfortable on the ball. His distribution was excellent. His positioning was good. I don't want to get kind of too overexcited about him at the moment, because we've gone that way with young players before, but there's no doubt for what we paid for him, we've already had our money's worth out of him. Looks a terrific find for the future.
Definitely. And just a quick question I'm going to chuck out to everyone. If all of our centre-backs are fit and firing, who would you pick at the back 3? Danny, who would your back 3 be?
It would be working on a pivot as Mertesacker is the last one back, because you don't need to rely on pace. Koscielny on the left, And on the right-hand side, I'm probably going to go Mustafi. Although Gabriel has been good, Mustafi has played there for Germany, and I really do like Mustafi. And I think if you put them along with two old heads like Mertesacker and Koscielny, he'll do really well. So there's my three. But Holding, yeah, he's definitely one for the future.
Wonderful. Jace?
Slightly different. I'd go Koscielny on the left, Mustafi in the middle, and I'd go Gabriel on the right at the moment. To be fair, Gabriel, Rob Holding was great on Sunday. He was, even when he put the ball out for a corner instead of an into touch, he's played really, really well. But he hasn't played that many games this season. But I'd like to see Mustafi in the middle because I think he organises well. Gabriel on the right, Koscielny on the left, and Chambers coming back. Holding's development. I'm really excited about our defensive options from here on in.
We have some very good players, which is why I think it's such a good question. Simon?
I'd go Holding on the left just because I think he looks like in the squad he's the best at playing that left centre-back position, and I think he might have created a little niche from there where he is the best left-sided centre-half. I'd have Koscielny in the middle and then Mustafi on the right of the three.
I have to say that's probably what I would say as well. And finally, David?
That'd be three of us then. That's exactly who I'd pick.
Fantastic. Look,
do you think Per's going to play again this season?
No,
he's very undercooked.
I'd be very surprised.
He's had match. He's not going to be match fit, which seems odd. I agree. I think Per would look much better in a back three as well.
Do you think Wenger would at least have him on the bench if in the FA Cup final, on the off chance that we win it, so that he can go up and lift the trophy?
But Dan, he didn't have him on the bench last night.
He has been on and off the bench during the last 6 or 7 games, though, hasn't he?
But yeah,
he's not injured.
Yeah, but he's not played at all. I just can't understand it. I mean, okay, some people may not fancy the guy, but bags of experience.
He's got another year as well.
I genuinely think he's keeping him back for next season. I think he's written him off as far as this season goes.
Well, that's a fair comment then, isn't it?
Gimli.
Yes.
Sorry, Jace.
It's okay. No.
Okay. I forgot to do the injury update. Some good news. Perez is back any day now. He's missed 41 days. Espina back any day, missed 25 days. Cazorla, any day, he's missed 190 days. Mustafi had a thigh strain. He's back now. He should be back any day. He's missed 12 days. And Koscielny, it said he had a knee injury. He's only lost a day and he's back any day. So it should be, maybe for the North London derby, we could have little Santi back.
There's no chance. There's no chance.
No way.
No. Back fit, not playing.
Dan, he's not going to play this season, okay? Ultimately, he's got to do his rehab work and get match fit.
Yeah, well, we don't know how much of this any day now means.
He's a busted flesh, son.
Does it mean flesh. No, I reckon we'll see him again this season. I don't mean any of these are going to start. Well, maybe Koscielny will, but I mean we'll have him back. So back to in consideration.
I don't know if the club have officially announced his extension yet, Santi.
I hope he gets it though.
He's got the same thing as Per, where the club could just automatically do it. So I think it will get done, but maybe they're waiting until he's fit until they announce it, just for better PR.
Maybe
it's just nice to have those two experienced players at the club. It's only £100 a week. Might as well let them have it.
Oh, exactly. Just chuck it about all over the
not
shop.
My money. I've not bought any shirts.
We've talked about the back three. I just wanted to touch on, just a brief touch, which is quite coincidental, about that amazing save from Petr Cech. We all know the one with Torre's got his back to the goal and he wraps his foot round it and he gets the slightest touch. In real time, it doesn't even look like he's touched the ball. David, what a phenomenal save. Do we think that's a better save than David Seaman against, was it Sheffield United?
Sheffield United, no, I'm not having that one any way, shape or form, although it was a very good save, I have to say. And we didn't realise in normal time, it was only when they put the replays up on the big screen that the first time you saw it, you saw the ball deflect off his fingertips and everyone just went, oh, like crowds do when they're watching stuff like that. It was good save, but no, Seaman's was just different class.
Anybody disagree with that?
No, I thought it reminded me of a young Jason Davies. He got it away with his fingers at the far post on the park.
Lovely stuff. And the least said about that, the better. So Mesut Ozil then, a controversial player for the day. There were plenty of people saying that he had a good game. There were other people that were saying that he was absolutely anonymous. So let's have a little talk about him. We haven't done an Ozil watch for a while. Danny,
one now?
Yeah, let's have a little bit of an Ozil watch. What did you make of his performance? Good or bad from you?
I don't think it's helping him playing in that position. First of all, he's used to playing in that position in the centre behind the striker on his own. He's now having to share it with Sanchez. And with Sanchez, what you're meant to be playing there, it's a little bit like you and me playing, doing this podcast together. And then every now and then I look around and you fucked off and you're making a cup of tea, or you're making the bed, or you're taking the dog for a walk. Ozil is meant to be in a two-man midfield, and you don't know if Sanchez is going to be there. So you go to do a 1-2 with him and go, oh fuck, he's playing left back. Oh my god, now he's playing right wing. So a little bit like that's got to be hard. But for Ozil, for me, I think it's time to go. He doesn't fit in that position. If we get this formation, we take out Ozil and we play Ox in the centre of the park between Xhaka and Ramsey and have the Ox drifting into the Ozil position. That is my ideal formation. Ozil, for me, it needs to be sold, needs to go, because he hasn't fitted into the club. An amazing season, 11 goals, 11 assists. He is one of the most skillful players that we've had in the club for years and years, but it's just not working. He had one shot on goal, opted rating of 7.54, 79% pass success rate, 4 dribbles, 1 tackle. He took 5 corners, apparently, and that's it. He had 2.9% of the overall possession.
Anybody want to argue with Danny there? I know
Jace does.
Yeah, go on, Jace. Do you want to argue Mesut Ozil's corner?
Look, I've got to be honest here. I think it is difficult, as Dan said. It's a new formation. You can see how Ollie struggled. I thought Ollie was poor on Sunday. I thought Ozil was equally as poor, to be honest with you. I don't think, you pay £42 million for that quality of player. And we all know his skill set. We all know what he can do on the pitch. He does not impose himself on the park whatsoever at the moment. He doesn't influence the game that much. I can't argue with Danny. I've got to be honest with you. I just don't see the point of having that much of a wage tied up when you can get a couple of players who can do a job for us, and players who can actually influence games. The assists have dried up, so to speak, or the number of assists. And I'm struggling to see how he's going to come back from it, because he's not showing any fight, really, is he?
No. Simon, you have access to information. This week, a little birdie told me that Mesut Ozil has been offered, and Sanchez, 280 grand a week. Is there any truth in that, and what are your thoughts on Mesut?
In terms of whether there's any truth on it, I think the Sanchez one was reported a few weeks ago, wasn't it, that he was going to be offered a wage around that amount. And I think with Ozil, if they do offer a similar thing, it'll be done along with the image rights. And Mesut obviously is looking to push his own brand. So I imagine that Arsenal can do that wage if again, it's structured with image rights. And as for Ozil, I'm still very much in his corner. I thought on Sunday, he seems to struggle when Giroud's there, certainly in this formation, just because when Giroud's up top, I think the defence can happily push up the back line because they know Giroud's not going to worry them in behind. So they think, right, let's just push up. And it seems to compress the space where Ozil's playing. And when Welbeck came on and was stretching City and the game was getting stretched, Ozil looked much better. He wasn't quite getting that final ball, but he was at least getting space. And for me, in this new formation, if we're going to play this way, I'd personally love to see Ozil and Ramsey off Alexis at the top of the formation, just because Ramsey during the Euros for Wales, he did the same thing where it was him and Bale off either Robson-Kanu or Vokes. And I think it gets the best out of Ramsey. And if you've got Ramsey and Alexis both pushing on, both stretching the defence, I think Ozil then might have a bit more space to get on the ball and create. And I think if you were to get rid of Ozil, I know people are saying it's a lot of money, it's big wages, but I can't see who we'd get in who would fit as well as Ozil does. And I know he's had a difficult season, but his goal tally's increased a lot. And in terms of the goals and assists, it's quite equal to last season. So for me, I'd keep him. And if we can just shift the personnel a bit, I think it would work really well for him in this formation.
Sorry, quick question there. I do apologise, boys. I mean, when he first came to the club, you'd see a lot of teams doubling up on him, double teaming him, and so forth. I mean, you know, 2 men on him at any one point. So he's dragging defenders. Behave.
Come on, children, for fuck's sake, we're better than that.
No, we're not. We're really not.
Oh, we're really
As you were.
So you know, he's dragging defenders at a place, and I thought his off the ball movement was really, really good the first 2 seasons. I mean, is it me? I don't see that happening that much anymore. I don't see teams double teaming him. I think they just leave one on him, and he's not going to do that much damage.
I mean, the slight difference from when he first came in that first season, I think, was when there wasn't Alexis was there, is that he really was the danger man, certainly for that 2013-14 season. And he was then, you were right, he was very much double marked and moved across. But I think now with Alexis, because there's the pair of them, it's not such an easier case to go, look, this is Arsenal's main man, we'll double up on Ozil with Alexis there. So I agree with you in that sense that he perhaps should be thriving more. But the issue with him this season, I think, has been that Bayern Munich game, or those 2 legs, rightly or wrongly, and emotionally, mentally, he was really, really knocked for 6 by that. And Wenger spoke about it a couple of weeks ago and said it took Ozil a long, long time to get over it. And Ozil did an interview a few weeks ago with the Mail on Sunday, and he said the same thing. When I think for that, we didn't really see him much in March, did he? He had a few injuries. The international break, he played a bit for Germany, but I think that really, really knocked him. And his confidence took quite a hit as well. And I think now, towards the end of the season with the cup final, if he can get that confidence back in his game, we might see the best of him again. Because I think from February onwards, we haven't really seen the best of him at all. And I think it's a confidence issue with him. I don't think it's a question of ability or technique. I think it's mental for him.
But surely he should toughen up then, you know, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, he should toughen up, but, you know, at the end of the day, this is, you know, he's human, and we say it a lot about Theo, don't we? The same thing with Walcott. You think he's so talented, and Wenger said it with Oxlade-Chamberlain as well. I agree. I think Wenger said has really changed mentally. Like we've seen now when Oxlade-Chamberlain doesn't doubt himself, and Wenger says he used to just doubt himself and think he wasn't good enough. And I think finally now you look at Ox, the confidence flowing with him. I mean, that cross from Monreal at the weekend. I mean, if you thought 6-7 months ago that, you know, he would do that, would beat his man and just get it in the box instantly, didn't even think about it. And I think Ozil's the same as that. We do have quite a fragile squad mentally. And sometimes they need a bit of a G-ing up. They're not all like Sanchez where, you know, they'll happily give the ball away and go on runs and fire shots wide the goal. It's just not like that. They're human at the end of the day.
And David, you might have seen the picture that Mesut Ozil tweeted this week. Did the players have a day off on Monday, and he tweeted a picture in his Arsenal blazer with him saying, with a caption something like he loved London. Do you think that was a hint that he might want to stay?
I would hope so. I'm disappointed with talk of people wanting to leave because, frankly, where I'm sitting, I want us to be signing another couple of world-class players for him to play with, because I think that might be part of it as well. When you look at his first instinct when he gets the ball, wherever he is on the park, is to first look up to see where Sanchez is. And he'll play with Alexis all afternoon long if you let him, all evening long if you let him. And I'd love to give him another couple of options up there. But yes, I think possibly he's still suffering from whatever ailed him in March. I think Simon's absolutely right there. But I don't think this Sunday just gone, that win at Wembley has lifted him. If you looked at his face, if you saw the clip of him afterwards coming off, giving it the old, yeah, Gunners, yeah. Yeah, maybe there's a little bit of him back, because I thought he was improved in the match against Leicester.
Mm. And Danny, we have to give a mention to Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, and I know you're a particular fan of his. Believe he got man of the match on the day, so what's your thoughts on him?
Are we still on about the Man City game?
Yeah. Well, there's plenty to talk about. We've got about 5 minutes on the Leicester game. It was so dull. So...
Yes, he got a man of the match. He got an 8.2. He was substituted. He got the assist. I thought for the first time, that was game number 2 of playing 3 at the back. The first game, he struggled. And long term, I don't think that is going to be his position, because I don't think there is a footballer in the Premier League that is more suited to that right wing back thing of more than Bellerin, because we've complained before a few seasons ago Bellerin was getting forward too much and he wasn't doing enough defending. Now he's doing defending, but he has the ability to do both. And I think having that position as a right wing back will make Bellerin a better player and a happier player, because that's just he's obviously someone who loves to get forward, and that will make him happy. But I can see the Ox playing in one of the two central midfield roles, because Xhaka seems to be coming into his own, which is really good. As much as I like Ramsey, I don't think he's managed to get on top of his game yet, but still hope out there. But the Ox is just brilliant. He's 2-footed. I had a couple of dirty Tottenham fans around here earlier, looking at my bathroom because I'm going to get a new bath put in. And,
is that a euphemism?
No, it's Lee and Barry. I didn't realise Barry was a dirty spud. Otherwise, I wouldn't have let him in the house. To have two in the house is it's just disgusting. I've had to fumigate it.
You need a bath after that.
Can you confirm, Jace, that's the same kind of thing as you're with your 2-man on that we were talking about earlier?
I don't know.
No, behave yourselves. Anyway, so it's just really, really good for the Ox, because I think we were saying that it's probably ambidextrous is hands, and I think pedidextrous might be feet. Anyway, someone will no doubt tweet me and call me a tit for that. But it's just fantastic having that player with so much ability and so much of all those positions on that day. He could have played left wing back, right wing back, two of the central midfield. He could have played in the Sanchez role, the Ozil role, or maybe even the Giroud role. And having a player like that at the club, and he's only 23 at the moment, just absolutely immense. And this second half of the season, I think he's been brilliant. I mean, I always go on about that goal he scored against Monaco last season. So his ability just to have a shot from wherever it is and get it on target. And the game again when we lost to Crystal Palace, and they were shouting, and then there's that video going around that I think Mike from the Gooners in the USA did a video of it where someone was shouting, "You're not fit to wear the shirt." And as soon as he shouted that, the Ox got the ball, tapped it with his right foot, tapped it around the back of his left foot, went in between two players and put it across. I thought that just sums up the Ox for me. What a wonderful player, and is such a prospect. There's been rumours. I mean, in the papers they all print stuff to get people to buy it, but there was a rumour that Man City were interested in him at 35 million. That would be one of the biggest mistakes we could ever make, is to sell him, let alone to a club like that, where someone like Pep would definitely utilise him in so many great roles. And we'd look at him and go, "Oh, our days of having to sell players are long gone. So don't let them go just because." We're not playing the right football, or we aren't going in the direction we want to be going. Keep him. Build the squad around players like him is so important.
I've been telling people that for years, mate. I don't know, it does my nutting. It really does.
Sorry,
Jace. Sorry, Jeff. Jace, Alexis steps up to poke home the winner. Another great performance from him. Surely we can't let him go, can we? We've got to just offer him what he wants if we can keep him.
I don't know if he wants to go. We've got no choice. He drives me mad. He does. It's all about him a lot of the time. But he is a wonderful talent. Ozil's a wonderful talent, and I respect what Dave and I said earlier on about, wanting to keep Mesut. The same with both these guys. If they're prepared to stay, knuckle down and get on it, and, become really great players for the club, really apply themselves, fantastic. I mean, you can't knock Sanchez's ability. He's one of those players. He's a bit of a one-off. I do worry about how many times he gives the ball away, and he's happy to moan at other players, but does he give himself as much of a hard time? Probably internally he does, but he's just that type of player, and he's exceptional and influencing the game when he's on song, he's able to get the scrappy goals, and it was a wonderful sight watching that go in. It was just fantastic, because I thought as a team we deserved it. As a team, every guy on the pitch had worked. They'd worked their socks off. They'd put everything into it, and we deserved that win on Sunday. We really did.
Definitely so. I should start to wrap up the bet about Man City. We can only cling on to it for so much longer. I should talk about a few things here I've got written down. What do you all make of facing Chelsea in the final? Can we beat them, David?
Of course we can. We can beat anybody on our day, and we have a 100% record against Chelsea in the final as well. FA Cup at least.
David.
Well, in fact, we've got 100% record against them in the League Cup as well. Sorry, Dan?
It's only Ray Parlour.
Yeah, exactly. Chelsea have their foibles and their weaknesses, the same as Manchester City. If they come and they play, it's going to be difficult. But if we turn up and play, they're not going to have it all their own way either.
No, I mean, there's so much to talk about here. We could talk about their disallowed goal. Was it out? I think we got away with that one. And also, I've got here written as well, the fan base were happy, no banners from what I could see. Wasn't it refreshing to see Arsenal Twitter like reinvigorated? And we were actually, it seemed like we were just like the team. We were a unit rather than bitching at each other and all having our own agendas and whatnot. It was lovely to see, wasn't it, Simon?
Yeah, and the whole atmosphere on the day, as Dave will probably say, he's been there, but the Arsenal end, the atmosphere looked absolutely amazing. And I think it was such a big game that not only for Wenger's future, but for the fan base, because, you know, if we'd lost that, and as Danny says, you've got that day to look forward to in May. And as a fan, when we think back over this season, cup finals and semi-finals are what you remember. You don't remember coming fourth in the league. You remember those cup finals, and that's why for me I'll always take winning the FA Cup over coming fourth, because you get the day, you get the whole build up, you get being out in the sun, having a drink, and it just felt like for a day there was no banners, as you say, other than the Corbyn out banner which flew over the stadium, which was a bit of a weird one, but and everyone was just happy just for 24 hours or so. Yeah, no, it was a perfect day, really.
Yeah. Yes.
Can I ask David a question?
Go.
David, I used to go with Paul and his dad's older brother, who was probably about your age, and we were coming back from the Champions League final. We were discussing the number of finals that we'd been to. My finals is I've been to 7 and we've won 3 and lost 4. He was something like he'd been to 14 finals and lost about 8 or 9 of them. What's your record? Are you a jinx? Do you want to have a time to think about it and then get back to us?
Yeah, I'll do.
Okay.
Okay. No, I've got just one brief thing here. Yes. I've just got it bullet pointed that we must all laugh at Tottenham, and then I've also got
best team in the world, Gim.
Yeah, they are best team in the world. Underneath that, there is another bullet point that, and I don't know why I've written it, but it just simply says Spasher.
Is that wonderful Twitter account you were telling me about earlier?
Yes, it is. Jason, would you like to expand on Spasher?
No, not really. He's brilliant. I love him. I do love him, but I'm not touching that with a barge, Paul fella. Mind you, I am glad we did win on Sunday, because I was gobbing off on Saturday at the Tottenham fans. Oh, if we'd have lost, it would have been hell. It would have been hell.
Yeah, it would have been. Shall we go home? Right.
7-3.
You've only lost 3.
Yeah, I've only been at 3 losses, I think.
I've been at 4.
I'm definitely...
League Cup 88 I lost, and then the Liverpool FA in 2001, Champions League final, and the Chelsea League Cup final in 07.
I was Swindon.
Oh, Jesus. What's the year show ruined that for us?
Leeds United.
Oh, another League Cup. No, that was the FA Cup, wasn't it?
Oh, no, it's more. No, you're right. It's more, because then there's Ipswich. West Ham. Oh, yeah. I can't count me.
Boys.
Probably 7-7.
Boys, you're a pair of fucking Jonas. Don't go to any more finals.
Right. Let's talk about our second game of the week then, which was yesterday's home win against Leicester City. Who wants this one? No, that's Danny. You've not done one for a while. What did you make of last night's game?
As I always say, when you look back at this in my Rothman's Football Yearbook, it will say win. That is the most important thing. 3 wins back to back after the stunning win against Man City. Now, we have beat Leicester, current Premier League champions, home and away. Did we beat them this season in the league? Didn't we?
Drew. Vardy.
Well, we've
Terrible
got
game.
3, 6, 9. We've got 10 points out of 12 off of the current champions. Now that's not a bad run, is it? Considering the entire of their back four got booked. One of them tried to dry hump Giroud into the ground. Koscielny, fantastic to see him back. He got, according to the Opta, he got man of the match. Ozil was a little bit quiet again. Xhaka, like I was saying before about the Man City game, he's coming into his own there. Coquelin, unfortunately, steady, Jace. Breathe, Jace, breathe. Coquelin unfortunately started, but I do think it is nice that Wenger has got a new formation and he's moving things round. He's decided to play Monreal at left centre back, which people said he can't, but he's played there in left centre back when we played 4 at the back before. Gibbs playing at left midfield, at left wing back. I don't think he did himself any favours. Sanchez, probably one of the worst games I've seen Sanchez play. Gimli, have you got a bullet point about his shenanigans?
I have.
Okay, I'll leave that to you to come to later then. I thought Sanchez, sometimes when you're playing poker, there's times where you just got to stop and just go back to playing. Stop doubling down. Stop chasing your losses. Because the amount of times I was listening to that prick Tony Gale, I was watching, I think it was a Canadian thing, and it was just constantly giving the ball away, running after it, giving it away again. Sanchez, you work so hard. And not the dear Sanchez. Sanchez works so hard, and sometimes he overthinks it. He overdoes it. He maybe needs to go back to playing the simple stuff. Cech was really good as well. I think Cech is back on form, having Koscielny there at the back of him. Gabriel, another fantastic game for Gabriel. It's so good for someone who's got like brute force. It's good to have someone like that at the back who isn't going to take any shit, who isn't going to duck out of it. He's almost like an old school defender. You're going to kick the ball at his face and he isn't going to give a shit. He's just going to go, oh good, I'm more ugly than I was before. Walcott did absolutely nothing, bless him. It says on here that Walcott played next to Ozil when Sanchez played up front. I don't think it was like that. Trying to play, I think Walcott played up front mostly. It wasn't really working for him, was it? I think his days, this is proven, his days as playing as a striker isn't going to work for us. I did suggest in the Man City game that maybe Walcott needed to come and play up front. I don't know. I don't think it is. But now there is no place for Walcott in this formation. Much like I don't think there's much of a place for Ozil, although that can be argued. There is zero place in this team for Walcott because he showed then he cannot do it. It's only one game, and it's probably unfair to judge him on that one game. But he did not seem interested. The Ozil, the Sanchez Walcott thing wasn't working. Coquelin, I wasn't overly impressed with, and Monreal. Oh, take a bow, son, brilliant. Yeah, some things about that game I enjoyed. It was pretty good. It's a pretty good game for maybe the neutral. Lots of stuff didn't work, but we're trying new things out, aren't we? And Wenger to go from 3-5-2-1 to go into 4-4-2 again, 4-4-1 again. I thought that was really good. It's nice to see that like Simon will appreciate this, when you're playing Football Manager, and I always play 3-5-2, whenever I go a couple of goals up, it's an important game, shut the game down, go to a more defensive formation. I think that's what we did last night, and that was good to see.
It certainly was. You can't argue that.
Jason probably will.
Yeah, well, probably. Jace, we'll go to you, seeing as Danny's picked you out. Arsenal really struggled to get going. Do you think it was a bit of an FA Cup hangover for us?
No, I think Leicester set up to frustrate. There was no closing down from them. They just sat back. We were talking for the pod, and as Dave said, he thought Coquelin did okay last night, and so do I. To be fair, the guy did okay, but there's no pressure on him. Nobody's closing anybody down. They just sat back and they just tried to frustrate us, and they tried to bully us. I can't remember the fella's name, the guy who basically jumped into Ollie's back. That Ben Oluwan, yeah. Ben
Oluwan.
How he doesn't get a red card for that? Studs up into his back, and as the commentator said, as the same commentary as Dan. Yeah, he's lined him up. He was looking at him. He lined him up on that. That's a straight red. It's unbelievable. As far as the Walcott Sanchez thing is, we've spoken about it before, where Ollie struggled, Ozil struggled at times. Maybe it's just a case of these guys are trying to find their way in the new formation. I do expect more from them, but you can't have everything. I thought I thought Xhaka's passing last night, his range of passing last night was fantastic. You know, he just finds everyone. He was superb. Our defence, I know we had a couple of shaky moments, but we're pretty solid again. And it was just one of those frustrating nights where they didn't want to come to play. You know, Craig Shakespeare can piss and moan as much as he wants. He's a twat. You know, they did nothing. They did not want to come and play. They came to bully us. How... who's the boy with the throw-in?
Fuchs.
How Fuchs has not had a second yellow card in that throw-in, and regardless of Sanchez's reaction or whatever, that's violent play. There's no intention to play the ball. He's gone to hit the man. Mike Jones has got to give a second yellow there. They should have had at least 2 men sent off. Huth got very lucky. There were a number of poor fouls from him during the game where he didn't even get booked. You know, Leicester City can go fuck themselves. They got exactly what they deserved last night. Champions my arse. They're a fucking disgrace. And they can go fuck off. I was so pleased when it went in off Huth. And Monreal was superb again. It was nice to see Hector back as well. It was really nice to see Hector back. And Cech again, doing well the second game in the trot, you know, really showing his quality as a keeper. So it was just a really frustrating night. I don't think you could be too hard on people from last night because Leicester did not come to play the game. They just came to sit back and soak it up. And that's what they did.
David, would you like to give us a less angry version of events last night?
I can add to it. I can add Mr. Drinkwater's name to the list of the players who got extremely lucky last night.
Good shout.
He was. He just got away with so many challenges. The reason I got a bit upset about that was the fact that Xhaka again, for something, it's a yellow card offence, I absolutely accept, but there were worse challenges made last night that went unpunished.
But Dave, isn't it funny? Double standards. You know, we've suffered this all fucking season.
You're going to butt in on me now, are you?
Sorry, I do apologise. I'm so frustrated. I honestly, I could have put my foot through the bloody TV last night.
Yeah, I absolutely understand that. But the pleasing thing was, if you think about it as well, they set themselves up to frustrate, yes. So many teams do it. So many teams, we don't actually get to break down. And that's when the atmosphere in the stadium gets a bit awkward, you know. And the only time you got the sense that people were getting flustered last night was around about the hour mark. And the chant for Danny Welbeck started to creep up and up in volume because people, I think, were praying that Theo got took off. Whether you like Theo or not, if you like him, it was painful watching last night because he just was having one of those nights. And when Welbeck was brought on and a great big roar from the crowd and he held up the board and off came Gibbo and you thought, oh, hang on a minute. But actually, when you think that all of that going on, and we've got 7 players who started the game who have just gone through 2 hours of football against Manchester City on the Sunday at Wembley and were absolutely knackered then. The worst 4, I assume, were the ones who were left out at the start. But that was quite a performance to keep going for 90. In the end, it was 96 minutes. And in the end, got the reward they deserved. And of course, after that, Mesut Ozil had the ball in the net again. But unfortunately, the old flag did for him as well. So I thought it was, in the end, a very creditable, if frustrating 1-0.
Simon, you've got the difficult job of trying to build on that. What were your thoughts on some of the talking points and incidents of the night?
I mean, like you say, it's one of those games that you'll forget very quickly. But for me, the most pleasing thing was how much more defensively solid we've looked since we've changed this back three, because we were leaking in so many goals. I think it was certainly away from home. I think our last 4 away games, I think the Crystal Palace one being the last one, we'd let in 3 goals away from home every single time. And it is just refreshing to see us looking much more secure with 3 at the back. And I think what it's done for the players is that it's just focused their mind and made them rethink about how they need to be doing this, how they need to be setting up, and they just look like they're working a bit harder. And against a team like Leicester, as we've said, they came up there to get a point. They set up, and eventually, by hook or by crook, we broke them down. And it's the momentum going forward. I think if we'd gone to that Leicester game, 0-0, boring night, just going into the derby on Sunday, I think it would have killed a bit of the momentum from the Manchester City game. So the fact that we won, it's 3 on the bounce. I just felt going into White Hart Lane on Sunday to beat Leicester, whatever the way it was actually really important. Just more for the morale of the squad and just to keep that momentum going for what is a huge game on Sunday.
And we will go through a few of the incidents. Just quickly, what were your thoughts on Sanchez, Simon? Him being hit in the face with Fuchs. Was he right to it? Because he's got quite a lot of hate on Twitter for it. It's even from our own fans. And right or wrong, do you agree with that?
I mean, I understand the hate he's got for it, and the reaction maybe he's overreacted. But I mean, first and foremost, Fuchs shouldn't be chucking the ball in his face. And I felt it was all pretty childish from the fact that Fuchs did it, from the way Sanchez went down. Does he justify the abuse he gets? I mean, maybe, but in the South American culture, that's the way it is. I mean, we see it with players like Suarez, who's biting people and everything like that. But then if Suarez gets a touch, as we saw against Paris Saint-Germain, he'll throw himself on the ground. It's a completely different culture. But someone like Sanchez, it's probably not that weird a thing for him to react like that. In the English game, it is. And I thought it was all just really, really childish. And I was glad in the end no one got sent off from it, because I was a bit worried with Sanchez after he'd had that he was getting very, very worked up. And I was thinking, Christ, the last thing I want to hear is him to be sent off and banned for the next game. But for me, it was all just childish and petty. And the quicker it's forgotten, the better, really. Anybody want to build on that?
I will say something on that. It comes to something. Okay, Sanchez shouldn't have behaved the way he did after, it's hit him in the shoulder clearly, right? But how on earth are people getting angry at Sanchez's behaviour after somebody's kicked one of our players in the back and Fuchs has thrown the ball in his face?
His shoulder, not his face. Big difference.
No, he's missed.
No, but no. He did tweet a picture of he had a cut lip after the game, so either he's faking
I think he got clobbered.
No, that was later on down the other end.
Who's clobbered him? People aren't getting angry at the poor challenges we constantly receive from opposing teams. No, but they're getting angry with Sanchez for, well, let's be honest, it's play acting. Okay, but sooner or later, I've got no problem with Sanchez play acting there, to be honest. It is slightly childish, as Simon says. But the bottom line is, how long have we got to suffer shit challenges and referees allowing them to happen? We've seen Eduardo's leg broken. We've seen Abu Dhabi's leg broken. We've seen Aaron Ramsey's leg broken, okay? It's going back to that state. And it's about time, okay? And I will say this about Arsene Wenger. Sometimes he actually needs to say it in the press and say, well, come on, when are referees going to protect my players? The guy has thrown the ball in his face. We've had one of our players kicked in the back and he was lined up. He was fucking lined up by the guy. You'd get sent off for that on the rugby pitch, let alone the football pitch. Right? So when the fuck are people actually going to stand up for the club and actually, force referees into a decision? I got no problem with Alexis Sanchez there. Bravo to him, because we've got to start doing it. We've got to start looking after ourselves, because the next leg break is not far off.
That's a bit of a jump going from he threw the ball, it hit him in the shoulder. The reason he threw the ball, I'm not standing up for either the side, but for me...
You're not allowed to do it, Danny. You're not allowed to do it.
No, he wouldn't go back the 10 yards, Danny, so he threw the ball at him.
He's only going to go back 2 yards, okay? Where was the touch judge in this, and where was the referee? If they can't control the game, okay, that's their problem. But the point is, okay, he's not tried to play the ball. It's violent conduct. He should have
been booked, yeah. But what Sanchez did was wrong as well.
But Dan,
he dived. He didn't even get hit in the face. Danny, and he got hit in the shoulder with the ball and then waited 2 seconds and then grabbed his face and went, oh!
I don't care. Dan, hold up, yeah. So when Ollie Giroud gets kicked in the back earlier on, and the referee...
Two separate things,
Dan, it all adds up.
It's two separate things.
Dan, okay.
What Sanchez did was wrong.
I don't care. I really don't care.
Well, it doesn't matter whether you care or not.
Because the bottom line is the referee has not acted on any of the poor challenges, and there were a dozen poor challenges. Drink water going through the back of people.
You have a point there. But taking that as an individual challenge, that bloke should have been sent off for scraping his foot down the back of Giroud, and Sanchez should have been booked for what he did. He feigned injury.
But Dan, I got no problem with the yellow card for him. Yeah. Okay, but I think we have to start playing the game. We have to start play acting.
Well,
okay, because referees aren't giving us anything.
So we have to cheat to get it.
Well, Dan, they're cheating, kicking us all over the park.
Yeah.
So why not? If you can't beat them, you've got to join them.
Not necessarily.
Look, Dan, I would have preferred nothing more than to watch Sanchez go up and headbutt the guy after that. Stick one on him, see how he fucking likes
10-game ban. Excellent.
I don't. Well, so what? At least they're not going to do it again, are they?
I'd rather beat them on the pitch by playing than beat them with fisticuffs.
But Dan, if the referee's not giving you anything, okay, you're playing 12 men. Well, I'm sorry. I know it's an overreaction to say headbutt him, what have you, and it is a bit silly. But the point is, we're heading back to that place where one of our players is going to get badly hurt, and then everybody's going to be pissing and moaning. This has been building up for quite some time, all season, and especially since Wenger pushed Anthony Taylor.
And look who we got as a referee in the cup final.
Yeah, not the greatest.
So we just play the better person. We just put up with it. We beat them. So we won. They can kick us and shove us. Danny. We beat them.
After Abu Dhabi had his leg broken, we didn't win anything after that.
To leg breaks and stuff like that. It's a completely different thing. If you want to do every single bit of unfairness and all the dark arts into one big bucket, then maybe. But you can't spread it out over the space of 5 seasons.
Dan, it builds up, okay? This is the point, okay? It builds up, but referees allow it to happen each and every game, okay? And they keep on...
We do stuff that we get away with.
I don't see any of our players kicking anybody in the back.
Never seen Koscielny put a swift elbow in. Well, you never seen Xhaka. I mean, Xhaka has been over.
Whoa. To be fair, okay, Xhaka's not made a really nasty challenge all season. He's made a couple of ones. But they're not bad ones. If you're telling me that he deserved to get sent off against Swansea, I think you're mad.
No, every decision is, I believe every decision is one decision at a time. You can't go and go, oh, well, this happened 4 years ago. This has happened now. No.
But Dan, if referees allow these challenges to go unpunished, teams are going to keep on doing them, and then it's going to end up going badly for somebody, and they won't mean to break anybody's leg. They won't.
Yeah, okay. But it is nice if we had some players in there that are going to be elbowing the ribs or stuff like that. But I'd rather beat Leicester 1-0 and a couple of our players take a bit of abuse than our players abuse them and us lose. We beat them. So in the long run, we've won.
Dan, this is a long old 5 minutes on Leicester, isn't it? Get down, dog.
As Dave is the wise one amongst us, what did he think about it?
Well, just the Alexis incident.
Yeah.
I was kind of embarrassed. Fuchs should have been sent off before Alexis got the yellow, but 2 wrongs don't make a right, you know what I'm saying? What he did was very embarrassing.
It took him so long to do it, though. And there's cameras.
End off. We've done it to death.
Gimli.
Yes.
Hello.
No, I was just enjoying listening to Welsh Justice in full flow.
Fucking nut him.
It's a wonderful thing.
You would have played Westphalian rugby. There's no holds barred.
Right, it's up to you guys what you want to do next. Then we can do a little bit about Tottenham on Sunday with some predictions, or we can go straight to listener questions with Danny.
I will do whatever those 3, 2, 3 want.
Let's have some questions.
Yeah,
sounds like a good idea.
Okie dokie. Right, we've had some interesting questions in this week, haven't we, Gim?
Yes, we certainly have. Some funny ones.
I will start with you, as you've done the sterling role of being the host who doesn't spend 5 minutes answering his own question, unlike some red-haired fools that we know. Mark Blondow's for you, Gimli. Mark Blondal, he says, realistic targets for the summer, both in case Ozil and Alexis leaves, but also in case either stay. Everyone have a think about this. See what you think. Gimli, what do you reckon?
So I'm thrown in at the deep end, am I?
Yeah.
I would like to think that both Alexis and Ozil will stay. I certainly don't want either of them to leave. I'd like to, like David said earlier in the show, I think when we get players like that, we should be building on that and bringing players of that quality and not selling them to buy replacements. But if we did have to buy replacements, is it Schick, that player? Oh,
John. Yeah. Or Schick, yeah.
John Walsh mentioned him on the radio show last night. He looks a very, very tidy player.
The buyout was 25 million.
Yes. So that's a nice bit of, in Arsenal terms, certainly not cheap business in Arsenal terms, but what would be seen as a shrewd piece of business from us. Defensively, I wouldn't want to strengthen defensively. I think Petr Cech probably still got another season in him. And up front, I would like to see a world-class striker come in. I can't lie. Mbappe or Belotti. I know both of those are probably not within reach. Jason asked a very good question earlier, didn't you, Jace, with Hector Bellerin and Mbappe?
Oh, yeah. Would you... okay, so the question is, if Barca offered 50 million quid for Hector, and you could use that money and guarantee you to get Mbappe, would you sell Hector?
And my response was, I would hang my head in shame and say yes. So I'd like to see what everybody else says to that question.
I'd sell him even if you didn't get Mbappe. I don't think any right back's worth 50 million quid. And I think if someone paid 50 million for Bellerin, I'd sell him and get someone else in.
Fantastic. David?
You're not getting £50 million for him, so there's no answer to the question.
Oh, that's brought us down to with a shuddering.
You pissed on my parade, Dave. Carry on.
No, if I'm upsetting you, I'll take it.
You can never upset me.
Oh, see? Can you feel the love? Danny, next question.
Right, this one will go for Mr. Holick. From Reich Mead. I think he's done that on purpose. Would you keep Szczesny for next season or cash in?
I'd keep him. I think we need a first-choice goalkeeper for next year. He appears, by all reports, to have matured over his couple of years at Roma. I think he's ready to be our next goalkeeper. Give him a season and let's see what happens.
What would you do with Cech?
Backup,
stay as backup. And maybe if they could get Payton out the door and Cech can be the backup goalkeeper and goalkeeping coach, even better.
You think at 34 he would be prepared to be backup keeper? I don't.
It's up to him.
You make the rules. If he wants to stay, he does as you tell him.
For me, he's not first choice material.
I think Danny, the Buffon staying at a club until he's like 38, 39 he is the last of a dying breed. I don't think in modern football you'll see keepers stay at big clubs much past 35. Sadly enough, we all remember, Kevin Pressman, Steve Grizovic, they all played at their clubs until they were nearly 40 or over 40, didn't they? But I think you'll see that die out with modern football.
There was a goalkeeper who played in the UEFA Cup final for Celtic in 2000 and something. I can't remember what his name is. He's 42 and still playing in the Scottish leagues. So there you go. It is possible. I remember when Buffon signed from Parma. I thought that's never going to work out. Shows how much I know.
Are you sure you're not thinking about when they won the European Cup in 1967? Ronnie Simpson was in goal.
That's it. He's still playing for Bonaccord. But they beat Arbroath 36-0.
Yeah, he was 40-something. I bought his book. I'm sure it's a grand old team to play for.
Oh, no, it's definitely this bloke is still playing now, and he played for Celtic in the, I think it's 2007 UEFA Cup final.
Oh, okay.
I think they lost to a Portuguese team. In that HTC, they have a football channel where it's just 8 players that have done this, 15 players, and it's on there. I've been watching quite a few of those today. Simon, being a man in the know, what's your views on Szczesny? What do you think?
I think Ospina's going to go pretty definitely.
Spain?
No, I think he might go to Turkey.
Oh, why not? Everyone else is.
Very good wages paid there. I think Ospina will go. I think Szczesny will go. I agreed with what Rami said. Was it last week on the podcast when he was saying when someone goes out on loan, they don't rarely come back. And I think he has looked very good out there in Italy, and I think he's done very well. And I think he'll either get a move to Roma, or Napoli seems to be the other club who would take him and replace Pepe Reina with him. And Arsenal would probably get, even though he's got a year left in his contract, would probably still get over 10 million. And I think the club will go for Pickford, and then have Cech and Pickford rotating, and one do the Champions League and Cup games. So, I mean, if you get, Champions League, ambitious, maybe the Europa League and Cup games. So you get obviously 2 qualifying games, Europa, 6 group games is 8, and then you get the Cup games. So you'd get about 15, 16 Cup games, which I guess would be probably Pickford, and then Cech would do the league. That's what I think will happen. It's not concrete or definitely going to happen, but that would be my guess as what the plan will be going forward.
That Pickford is a decent player. That's another thing on the HTC channel. They were asking Sunderland fans whether Pickford should stay, and they said no. They expect to get 10 to 15 million pounds for him.
I think he'll want to get out, and from what I've seen of him this season, he's been very good, loud, made a lot of good saves, and I think if someone like him would be much more willing to work under Cech than Szczesny, who's now mid-20s. And needs to be a number one. Whereas I think Pickford, Cech's got 2 more years on his deal, and I think Pickford would probably take 2 years of understudying from Cech to eventually be the number one.
He's 23, just gone 23, born in Washington, England, not America, and he's 6'1", had 6 loan spells, and he's played for England at under 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. Anyone else got any views on him? I think he's doing pretty good there, because he's keeping out Victor Manone. No. Yeah, they're doomed. Okay, I'll move on to another. Jace or Gimli, did you have anything you want to say about Szczesny before I move on?
Just a shame it didn't work out, really, isn't it? I mean, he's obviously a talented keeper. He lost his head final season when he was with us.
No, what it was, Danny, is the goalkeeping coach at Arsenal ruined him. We've heard it from so many people that have come and gone on this podcast.
Didn't he? Steve said he said it in Polish media.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, never mind Peyton. Okay, forget about him. Peyton didn't make him smoke in the showers at Southampton, and so forth. It's just a shame, because when he and Fabianski came, we thought we had a couple of really good keepers who'd see us through for 10 odd years, and it's just a bit sad.
Steve said that we wanted to bring in the bloke, the Polish bloke who trained. I know, Steve, I know. No point shouting it. We can't hear you. Bring in the Polish goalkeeping trainer. We didn't want to come to England, did it? Steve, we know. We don't. Yes, thank you. Oh, Jesus. Right, one from Gav. He says, what formation would you have? 4-4-2, 4-3-3, 4-1-4-1, or I think the last one is for me, 5-4-3-2-1. While you lot are thinking, I would go 3 centre-backs, then I would have 5 across the middle. Oh, I've added it up wrong, haven't I? 3-4-1-2. That's what I'd have. Yes, because I like the Ox to be part of a midfield 3. I've got that completely wrong. Here I am killing for time while you lot are talking. David, what would be your ideal formation at the moment? Or would you change it game to game? Or during the game? Oh, the options.
We tend not to adjust our formation very often. We certainly don't do it to suit the teams that we're playing usually, although I'm pretty sure we went to the back 3 at Middlesbrough with one eye on Manchester City. And the fact that we won both those games meant we stuck with it against Leicester. And the longer the run goes on, I'm sure we'll start with it on Sunday. If we end up getting a result, we'll stick with it possibly to the end of this season. I like your idea of a 3-4-1-2, because I think that again gives Mesut a chance to play in behind, and I like the idea of 2 up front, but it's got to be 2 people who are complementary to each other. So that probably, with the players we've got at the moment, and I think that should change in the summer, you're probably talking Welbeck and Alexis because Giroud and Alexis don't quite click together, which is a shame because I think Giroud is probably our best out-and-out striker, and he gives us something that nobody else does. But he doesn't suit the way the side's set up at the moment.
Certainly does. Simon, would you like to have a little tickle on that?
I'd keep it as is. I'd go 3-4-2-1, but just shift the personnel a bit and have Ramsey and Ozil off Alexis. And then in the midfield, you could Bellerin on the right, Ox and Xhaka as the midfield two, Nacho on the left, and then Holding, Koscielny, Mustafi is what I'd have.
Bloody hell, that sounds like a good one. Mr. Gimli?
Move on to the next question. We've wasted too much time. This is quick fire. We've only got 15 minutes left, and you'll be the first cunt to moan if we go over time.
Right,
no, that'd be me.
From Davey Boyd, he says, "This is for you, Jace. Did you manage to?"
I thought the next one was mine.
No, that was aimed for me. One, Jack Robinson for you, Gimli. Josh Robinson, 87. If Koscielny is out of for Sunday, who would your three centre backs be, or would you revert to a back four?
I would probably go Holding, and I would put Gabriel in the middle, and I'd probably put Bayer in at the right side of defence, probably.
There you go. Right, this one is for me, from Davey Boyd. He says, did you manage to get rid of your peanuts after Gav from She-War keeping you back on the extras a fortnight ago? Yes, there was. It was like a scene from Back to the Future. There was tyre marks that are on fire from here to the toilet. Oh, tummy shame. Right, this next one can go for you, Jace. You ready?
Yeah.
From Azim Ali. In the 3-4-3 system, who should be the third person to be with Ozil and Alexis? Welbeck, he's put Welbeck, Giroud, Theo, or hat-trick maestro, yeah. So
that's a no-go.
It's a no-go for Sonogo.
Oh, happy hero.
To be honest, I we were talking about the formation just now. I would like to say 3-5-1-1. For Tottenham, I think.
All very defensive. I like it.
No, just pack the midfield because we know what they're going to do to us in midfield. I think
would Coquelin be a part of your midfield?
No. He wouldn't carry the fucking water.
Did a little part of you die? No.
No.
He's not a proper footballer. He's not a proper footballer. I'd really like to see in the middle Xhaka, Ramsey and Ox, because I think with Ramsey and Ox, if they go like pistons, they could cause Tottenham real damage. And with Ox's pace, he can join the front two in no time whatsoever. But give Mesut a free role behind Sanchez, and if you've got sort of either Monreal or Gibbs, because I'd play Monreal as one of the back three if Koscielny is injured, and Gibbs on the left and Hector on the right, because you've got enough pace then to get up and add to the attack. But you're kind of damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. It's just an opinion.
Isn't it good that we've got enough players to tickle around with a few formations and still put out a load of internationals? I like that.
Yeah, and Gibbs has got a previous of upset in Tottenham as well, which is nice.
He does, yes. Right, this is a question for everybody from Ellis Mill. It's a slightly edited snog, marry, or avoid from Ellis Mill.
No.
He says, not John Terry the footballer, but Jason's neighbour, John Terry's alleged mum lookalike, Kyle Walker's dog, or Indie Kris, snog, marry, or avoid. I won't ask David because he's a distinguished gentleman. Simon's a tart. We'll ask him.
I'm going to have to marry Indie Kris.
I would have avoided Indie Kris.
I'd avoid him as well.
No, just for the satin sheets.
But he'd leave you at the airport.
Marry Indie Kris. I think.
If I was you, I'd snog him. Not John Terry's legend mum. I'd go for the dog.
Yeah, I think I'd snog the dog. And then avoid the other just because I don't want to annoy Jace and be round at his neighbours.
Jace, as you've piped up, I won't ask you, Gimli, because you're innocent. Jace, what would be your three?
I'd avoid Indie Kris, like the clap.
You don't need red dye all over the place, do you?
I'd have to avoid John Terry's mum. Actually, Jesus, snogging Kyle Walker's dog will leave a bad taste in the mouth.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh God! I'd end up marrying.
Right, Gimli, this is one for the second part of Ellis's question. This is for you and Mr. Holick. Would any of the panel ditch a podcast to watch the latest Alien film? Would you, David and Gimli?
I wouldn't.
David?
No, not me. I'm not an Alien fan.
No, I think
you both
highly unprofessional.
You're loyal to the Arsenal. You're not.
Quick answer from all of you for this one from Fred Thurbin. After Monreal's heroics, I got to reminiscing. Who's your favourite Arsenal left back? I'll start this off, and I will say Kenny Sampson because he was my first favourite player when I really started getting into football in the mid '80s. Gimli, who's your one?
Oh, go on, pass. Someone come back to me.
You can't pass. Jace.
My favourite.
Yeah.
What's his name? Went to Turkey.
Oh, Andre Santos.
No. Emmanuel Eboué. Because he's
right back he tit.
No, he played left back as well, didn't he?
No. Well, he may have well played bloody everywhere. Headless chicken. He probably played up front.
Winterman's my favourite.
Oh, Nigel!
Natty Nige.
We used to scream that at him as he ran down the left wing at Highbury because Karen next to me used to fancy him. So we go, oh, Nigel!
Remember the Canio incident? he was giving tough guy.
he went full Sanchez, didn't he? David, who's your favourite left back?
Well, you said Nigel, and he's in my best team, but I got to say that the word for Kenny Sansom I thought was an excellent player. And I would also mention Billy McCulloch, who was the first left back I ever saw or I can remember seeing in an Arsenal shirt, who wasn't the best, but he was as game as anything. And he'd go trundling down that line. Oh, tell you what, Bob McNabb, what a player he was. He was, when the attacking fullbacks first came in, he was all right, was our Bob. That's a quick answer, isn't it?
Who was the one who dropped his shorts against Spurs?
Sammy Nelson against Coventry when he scored the last-minute equaliser. I was in the North Bank that night. I got an eyeful.
Oh, Jesus. They never lived it down. Simon, favourite left-back?
Favourite one, it's got to be Winterburn, but I think Ashley Cole's the best left-back I've seen play for us, but
I think we
can't go because he left, but I can't say his favourite because he fucked off. So Winterburn.
You got one yet, Gimli?
Yes, Armand Traore.
Hey, currently kicking his heels at QPR's reserves, probably. Right, there's only one final question. Yes, David. I'll go to you first, because you've already had a thought about it. From Josh, our very own Josh. He says, if you could have had 3 Arsenal players or managers round for a dinner party, who would you pick and why? Everyone have a little think about that. Whoever's got it, just say.
Well, the first 2 names would have to be Arsene Wenger and George Graham. Now, as for the third one, I think it would have to be Herbert Chapman. But they're big, because actually the guys that followed him, when you think of Whittaker, and it's just there's so many guys. But no, I'll go. That's it. Chapman, George Graham, Arsene Wenger.
I'd go Andrei Arshavin, Oleg Lushny, and Vladimir Petrovic, and we'd talk about the old USSR, and we'd watch Rocky
just
IV.
About managers.
We'd watch Rocky IV and Clint Eastwood and Firefox, and they could put me right on a few things. Gimli, have you got one?
What? Which 3 people would I have?
Players or managers? You can mix it up, I think.
I'd go Podolski because he's just fucking nuts, and and I go Sharvin could bring the vodka, pisshead.
Yeah. He was like dog.
And I'd probably have Mertesacker over for the dancing.
Simon, have you got 3?
I'd go Righty, Parler, and Tony Adams.
You're on it.
But Adams in his pomp, and I want Parler. All of them when they're in their pomp, Tuesday club.
You've
Tuesday
gone
club
full
mode.
Tuesday club.
Yeah, I want a Tuesday club session. That's what I'll have.
And Jace, would you have Paul Merson there, who would every 5 minutes go, I sport Chelsea, I sport Chelsea?
No.
Who would you have?
Oh, God. I had three there. I wouldn't mind Don Howe. Because
But he'd have some stories. He was there for years, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Player and manager.
Yeah, and there's something about Don Howe, his knowledge, his experience in the game. I think he'd be really interesting. I think you've got to have Vieira. I'd like to speak to. I'd like to chat to Vieira. I think what exactly happened, because I'd give him a bit of stick.
He's a right old lump now. You wouldn't get him away from the desserts trolley.
You tuck it into the breeze straight away.
You can imagine, can't you? And I think it's got to be Arsene Wenger, because, again, 20 years at the club, whatever your thoughts on him, an invincible season, 2 doubles, incredible.
I thought you would have had Francis Coquelin and Santi Cazorla over.
Santi'd be a good laugh. Francis Coquelin just be fist pumping in the corner because he can't do fuck all else.
Oh, I can see it now, Jace. That you'd bring along the Kit Kat cake, and you'd say to Arsene Wenger, "Oi, Wenger, where's the Kit Kat cake?" And he'd go, "I did not see it."
I know.
David,
Gimli, go on. If you had to pick one of our listeners to come over, you'd have the old boy that asked you if was it Bellerin's injury was good so Debussy could come back? Was that the question he asked you?
God knows. David, did you realise it was managers and players? Did you want to change yours a little bit?
Well, no, I won't do it. What I will do is I'll have a variation on a theme. How about if you pick 3 number 7s? I'd have Geordie Armstrong, Liam Brady and Robert Pires.
Oh, that's beautiful. Geordie Armstrong, that would be the one. I remember doing the book special with Dave Seeger, and I'd never seen him play. And the more you read about it, the more you did the homework, it was just, what a career.
I'd have
dual motion he was.
Oh,
I'd have 3 Stuart Robsons, so we'd just spend all day slagging off Wenger.
Jesus Christ. Actually, Rocky. I'd have Rocky.
Yeah, you got to have Rocky.
You could do.
Yeah.
Oh, no one's going to have. Oh no, Nasri was an 8, wasn't he? Right, Gimli, there you go. That's all the questions. Thank you much. Ellis did give us another one, but that was a bit of a long-winded one about future coaches. So maybe Ellis send us that one in, or just talk about it on the radio show, because you're on there in your dungeon. We're having a GoFundMe for Ellis's. Not Ellis's, for Josh's dungeon, because Josh lives in a dungeon, doesn't even have a window, bless him. So we're going to save enough GoFundMe to have a poster of a window.
He's got a Man City shirt, doesn't he? And he had a ticket for Sunday.
Did he? Dirty boy. Gimli, back to you.
Lovely stuff. Right then, we should do some predictions for the scum on Sunday. Danny, if you'd like to kick us off.
I'm going to go 1-1 Kane, because he is the bane of our bloody existence.
Okay, wonderful. Simon?
I'm going to go 2-1 to Arsenal, but Kane's going to score first.
Okay, David?
I'm going to go 4-2 to Arsenal.
Jesus.
And the first of a hat-trick for Alexis.
Oh, I'm liking that one.
Have you been on the whiskey already, David?
No, I'm still waiting to go.
Nearly there.
Jason?
3-1 to the Arsenal.
Ramsey hat-trick.
No. Mesut to score first.
0 points for Davis. And Gimli, what would be your prediction, my little fruit?
I'm going 2-0 Arsenal, because it's unthinkable that we'd let that cunt Harry Kane score against us. And it's unthinkable that I'd even think that they would score against us. So I can't give them a goal. So I'm going 2-0, and I think Alexis will get both of them. So 2-0 Alexis.
And the listeners at home and on the tractor? Oh, someone said 5-2.
Indie Kris.
Who knew?
Wonderful.
Yes.
We should do some shout-outs then, because we're pretty close to the end of the podcast. So, Danny, we'll go with you again. What's your shout-out?
Muspuss MUSSPUSS from YouTube. He helped. He said something helpful in one of the last ones, so I forgot to say hello to him. John Jones and JH, because all of my shout outs, gentlemen's nods from now on, are going to come from the people who put interesting comments in the YouTube windows, and me and Gimli especially are in there replying to as many of them as we can. And you can be rude and we won't censor you. You can even call Gimli fat. You
could even call Danny a really good bloke, and you can call me a crackhead if you want. We don't care.
No.
We can take criticism well, can't we, Danny?
No.
Although I do see a regular thing is that Jason gets called a see you next Tuesday every week.
Oh, that's just by Chris, though, or one of his other accounts. He's got about 50 accounts, hasn't he?
To be fair, do you want to be in my shoes and take all the stick I take every day?
Oh, dear. Oh. Don't forget, we've got to announce next week's lineup as well, Gim.
We certainly do.
Yeah, save that for you.
David?
That's what, shout-outs?
Yes, please.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to go for a fella at Lord of Paris, all one word, obviously, who does a load of match day shout-outs for a number of people. And I don't know him from Adam, but I get the shout out every week, and I always make sure that I respond to him. So that's him. Get following, and you might get a shout out on match day too.
Wonderful. Jace?
My mate Ben, I haven't spoken to him in a while. It's Ben at BAUSTRIN at B Austrin. He's a good lad, Ben is.
Lovely stuff.
You ready, Gimli?
Yes, I'm ready.
Oh, I forgot Simon, hadn't we?
Yeah, don't
I haven't got any this week, actually. So I'm
come on, Quiff.
The last person who followed me, which is Kyle Palmer, who is at Destructible Cake. Fucking hell.
That's a top name.
Destructible Cake, but he hasn't got an E in the word destructible. So if you've been able to spell it, then he deserves a follow.
Who's he support?
He's an Arsenal fan.
Oh, good man.
He probably doesn't listen, though. I mean, let's be honest.
Nah, he's just.
I'm going to go and find him. I'm going to have a look through your thing, and I'm going to go and find him and follow him from the podcast account.
Well, what you've done there, Simon, is you've turned an opportunity to make someone's day into a mockery.
Oh, we already were following him.
Bloody
Or maybe he does listen then. Maybe he does
listen. This is his fucking big moment. You spoiled it, Gim.
David, give him a hello.
Hello.
Hello!
Down, dog, down!
My shout out this week goes to my wonderful partner at Goonagirl Kate, who's going to be joining us back on the show very shortly. So a massive hello to her, and I love her very much.
Said it a bit louder.
Oh,
I talked over the good bit. Say that again.
I would say she's downstairs, but not at the moment.
Uh-oh. Moving swiftly on.
The important bit, Gimli. What was the little message to her?
No, everybody heard. I heard it was audible in my earphones.
Okay.
Not my fault that you choose to be a fat mouth tosser and talk over everybody all week, is it?
Sorry.
No.
We should stop interrupting everyone, Danny.
What a touch of the day for you.
I tell you, what you've lost a tooth and fucking gained a cheek. Twat. Oh, we should also inform everybody that there will be a radio show after this week, after the Sunday's game. You will see all the updates on that through a Bergkamp Wonderland's Twitter. So
Chris
get following.
Hosting though, will he? He'll probably come up with some fucking excuse.
Well, I'd probably be crying into his brogues.
Or doing crayons, sorting his crayon correction.
He'll be watching that video I put in the WhatsApp group. That's what it'll be.
Oh no. I still have nightmares with her.
Oh, funnily enough, I don't want to know. But if it's anything like the last video you posted, Simon, then we'll give it a miss, eh? Right. So all that's really left, unless you've got anything to shout out, Danny. I know you constantly shouting stuff out and saying hello to people.
Oh no, just got to mention next week's pod. It's a biggie.
Oh yes, that we
do. To be confirmed.
To be confirmed, but at the moment, I can confirm that.
To be confirmed, but at the moment I can't confirm.
You just confirmed yourself.
No, I can confirm that me and Danny are going to be there, and I can confirm that our holiness is going to be back.
Is he?
Yes,
he has been curing the sick in third world countries.
He has been, and like a beetle, he's come back to us. So isn't that going to be fun? But David, would you like to announce who might possibly be coming on this week or next week with you?
Hopefully we'll have Arseblog with us for a while.
Yes.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking
So
about.
we're going to have the blog father and the pod father, the creators of the Arsenal blog and the Arsenal pod together on the same one, like the old days.
Yep. The internet's going to explode.
I think we'll just all sit around and say nothing and let you two get on with it. You're both pros.
It's like when the Power Rangers get together. That's what it is. Right, let's end this then.
There'll be no Kit Kats, I'll tell you that.
Cheeky.
You cheeky bugger. Right then. So thank you to all my guests tonight. Simon, Jason and David. Danny, you, of course, you have to be here.
Oh, thank you for doing 3 weeks in a row. It's the first time you've done that since the 7th.
Do you know what? I swear, if I took these headphones off, I'd still be here. I'd still be able to hear Jason laughing out the window.
You probably could.
Gimli gate.
Good job I didn't take offence. So that was a Bergkamp Wonderland podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and keep it Arsenal. Good night. And keep it Arsenal. Good night.
No, get down, dog.
What was that?
See, what you've done is you all try to do your own thing at once, and it's collaborated.
I didn't say a fucking word. I knew something was coming.
To be fair, okay, boys, you know, it always descends into a bag of wank.
Did Indie Kris have something to say then?
Did she?
I don't know. It sounded like someone played a bit of WhatsApp.
That tweet he put out last week, okay? I had a quick look on Twitter, and what the fuck is he doing? Oh, me and the boys from the ABW have been having a laugh, so I decided to corn braid my hair. You utter fuckwit, Kris. What are you doing? It's bad enough he dyes it red, okay? You know,
Show has closed, doesn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
no, leave this in. Leave this
Feel
in.
free to cut him off.
It's bad enough he dyes it red for attention, okay? But this is getting, you know, between his belly and his hair, I don't know what's going on with the boy.
And the fact that he's short.
Oh, he's hella short.
He's taller than you, Gimli.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
No?
No, he's like 5 foot shorter.
Jeez.
Fucking
Makes it
breaking,
minus.
literally breaking news. Danny has fallen out of his chair because he thinks that I'm the smallest person in humanity.
You look
hold on.
Gimli with your hairy feet. Gav told me.
With Dan in the chair and Kris, they're about the same height.
Oh, bless. I'll take his sweets off him.
Oh, you can bully him, no problem. But to be fair, he's a lovely lad.
I bet he smells of beef hula hoops.
No, he smells pasties.
Does anyone notice that Jason's have to just put at the end there? Oh, but be fair, he's a lovely lad, just in case this makes it to the extras.
I got a lot of time for Kris, you know that.
And I haven't got a bad word to say about Kris J, so fucking hang your head.
But I got to be honest with you. Cunting him off makes my day. It really does, you know. You know, he can't be bothered to turn up for his own radio show. What's wrong with the boy?
Repeatedly. I don't think he's done one. What, this side of Christmas, is he?
No, nobody's noticed anyway.
Oh dear. Isn't John a great host though?
Oh, John's fantastic.
John's
even
brilliant. Shitbeard. Did you see what I put on the little info thing that I do for the podcast, for the radio show? The host. It's John Shitbeard.
To be fair, he livens up the radio show, doesn't he?
Oh dear. And I should have put John Shitbeard and the Ginger Twins, Thompson Twins. They're both ginger.
For some reason, I can't get a message through on the old Skype thing. I'm just going to finally have my throat has been dry as a bone here, so I'm going to have a bit of orange juice or something.
Oh, I see. Yes,
nudge, nudge, wink,
I
wink.
didn't read what it said. Yeah,
I'll be back in 5. Do me a death for the next 5 minutes.
Question, okay? Yes. Does Ellis Mell look like a young Peter Sutcliffe? I think he's a dead ringer.
A real dead ringer for love.
I don't know. Not really, no. Ellis is a good-looking bloke.
He looks like a young Peter Sutcliffe.
Do you remember? He looks like a young Lenny Henry.
Ellis, if you are listening to this,
which will be.
Think yourself lucky. Jason is brutal, and he could have said Peter Crouch or some shit like that. You all know how his mind works.
You gotta love Peter Crouch, innit? What would you be if you were a footballer?
Glad you said Crouch there and not Sutcliffe. Then we would have been fucked.
Oh Jesus! Oh yeah, you best not put that in, Dan. to be fair, that could upset people.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Would
no, it won't upset people.
I don't know. So how was the press box on Sunday, Mr. Collings?
Very nice, very very nice.
Do you have some sausage on stick?
I had a little bit of lasagna with some salad.
Ooh, look at you.
Was it a tribute to our being the week that we won the league at White Hart Lane? Was that your tribute? was that your thinking?
That might have been the press box's thinking, just to rub it in Spurs' face.
That would be awesome. If that was their thinking, then I am fully behind that.
To be fair, did you see Spash's?
That's what I tried to play at the end. I tried to play, going fucking bullshit. I couldn't get it.
I love that guy. I think he's absolute top quality.
I think the fact that someone's likened him to Sasha is absolutely genius, because I didn't see it, but I fucking can now.
Are you back, David?
Yeah, just.
Did you see that Spurs fan who got beaten up?
Oh, that's wrong.
That's terrible. By a fellow Spurs fan.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Did you see the fighting on the concourse after the City game?
No.
I didn't see it. I saw
the film of it, to be honest, because I came down past there probably about 20, 25 minutes after the whistle, and there was nothing going on then. We got a red card in the United game.
Yeah, Fellaini just hit.
Sounds like it's been an awful fucking game.
That's Mkhitaryan, is it?
Good. Yeah, Fellaini got sent off for hitting him with his afro.
Still.
Admittedly, Fellaini was half a mile away, but that afro still got him. Bravo was stretchered off.
I tell you what, do you remember people wanting Fellaini at the Arsenal?
Yes.
Me? Yeah. I said that plenty of times.
In the same year that they asked for Cahill.
Cahill's a good player. I don't get the group people get Cahill. He's got league titles in the bag.
Ballsy defender, though, isn't he?
We do have the new Cahill, though, one of Bolton's finest.
Tell you what, Rob Holding's developing quite nicely, isn't he?
I did ask a question for the radio show. I said, is Rob Holding Rob Holding back? They wouldn't ask it.
Jesus.
Don't know why.
Yeah, you're not the first person to say that. At least try to be original.
On a serious note, though, John was fantastic doing the radio show. I've popped in for the last...
So much better than Chris.
I popped in for the last couple, and whereas I'd normally pop in, cunt a few people off and then leave, I've actually stayed and listened.
Don was there, Raj was there, Jace was there.
Jace was there, yeah.
I was there as well, but I didn't comment.
Seriously, I'm watching this again. Fellaini must be the stupidest cunt in the world. It's about time that fucker got sent off a few times.
I'm going to do it again.
Here's Eden Hazard! It's Matic with the ball driver! Fucking bullshit!
Fucking bullshit!
But they did do it again there. Another semi-final loss, 7 on the trot.
That was the best thing as well. Arsenal, it was a record 20th FA Cup final for us, and they had a record 7th.
Just wait till they move to Wembley.
The arsehole just goes them, doesn't it? Their arsehole goes when it's.
But next season they're going to be playing. Well, they keep delaying the date that they're going to move in, don't they?
They are moving in there. It's just
they lose every game. They go down.
They're going to move there for 1 year or 2 years.
Oh, imagine it. They'll be in the conference.
Wasn't there the record that we've already won one more game at Wembley than them, even though that they've played there for their entire Champions League campaign
and UEFA Cup campaign,
UEFA Cup,
and their FA Cup campaign?
Was it £5 a ticket there to sell them at? The last Wembley game, they were selling £5-10 a ticket because they just couldn't sell out there.
I think they only sold about 27,000 tickets before they lowered the price.
That is a lot for them, though.
Yeah, it is a lot.
I thought they were the biggest club in London, according to their mob.
Biggest, yes.
Biggest pile of shit.
It was Pochettino who said that before the semi-final.
Did you hear that? We're on a par with Liverpool and Man United.
Yeah.
Oh, hold up. 2 league titles. Fucking Huddersfield have got more than you cock. You know.
It'd be so sweet to beat them on Sunday, wouldn't it?
Do you know what?
Ever derby at White Hart Lane. Wow.
Yeah. Beat them, put them at the title race, win the FA Cup. They can all brag about finishing above us for the first time in a generation. And, where's your trophy, boys?
Who would you want to score the winner for us?
Check. Coquelin, just so Jason have to be nice about him.
So we could fight
the no-go.
I'd like Flamini to just run on the pitch out of nowhere and just hit a volley again. That would be fucking phenomenal.
I think I'd love Ozil to score it and just shush the whole of White Hart Lane.
Yeah.
Them to just enrage madness from the Spurs fans.
Thing is, it's going to be the kind of game. Last game at White Hart Lane against us, if they win it, they will make a DVD of it. That's the type of shit that they are.
The beautiful thing would be if we scored an offside goal in the last minute of extra time. You know what I mean?
Or a last-minute penalty, like Lauren. Oh. That would be superb.
Ralph.
Oh, Ralph.
Yeah. He was good. He does pods, didn't he?
Does he?
Yeah, he
done
did.
Quite a few shows. Gimli was talking to him about one, weren't you, Gim?
Yes, I have. I do actually have his agent's details.
The thing is, Lauren, we miss players like that nowadays, because all the nonsense against Leicester with all those challenges.
He liked a bit of a fight, didn't he, Lauren?
He loved it. I think he's the hardest man to play for the Arsenal.
Well, did you hear what Lundberg said on Match of the Day when he said it was all right because you knew when you were in a fight you had Lauren behind you to fuck someone up, and he said it live on Match of the Day. It was something similar to that.
But he used to play with a peseta in his sock, didn't he?
Yeah, that's it. For good luck, isn't it?
A potato.
Peseta.
I thought he had a potato in his sock. Where was that? I wondered why he had one size 15 boot on.
He signed from Malaga. Is it from Malaga?
Yeah, that's where we got him from.
Yeah.
He was an absolute.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Malaga. It was Mallorca. CD Mallorca.
Oh, it's all the bloody same.